Hello, everyone. Welcome to Flip It Curiously. I'm Tony of Flip It Downside Up. And joining me, as always, is my co-host and friend. This is
Hey guys, I'm Brennan, the Curious Picker.
Curious Picker. Brendan and I are resellers. We enjoy the adventure of hunting for treasures, garage sales, thrift stores, online, even through people we know. We purchase items that people believe have a downside. We sell them for a profit on eBay and other platforms to people who believe they will have an upside and will pay a premium for those things. And our hope is to have a great time while educating our listeners about reselling, talking about life in general, and sharing great local beers.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Tony. So thank you guys very much again for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Today is Monday, September 20th. This is episode 17. So we are continuing to roll on, which is a lot of fun. It's been good continuing to do this here. So it's been, I'm trying to think, when was the first episode? How long ago was the first episode? How many months have we been doing this thing?
We've been doing this probably since, April maybe? Let's see.
I think so.
Episode 1 was March 24th.
Wow. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So again, episode 17. Thank you guys very much for hanging out. And Tony said towards the end of that intro there, we do like to share a beer. We like to start off with our favorite segment. At least I think it's our favorite segment, which we like to call Sip It. So we will both share a local beer. I'm going to kick it over to Tony for that sound.
It's cold too, which is great.
Oh, yes. Very nice. Very nice. Tony, good to be with you again. Let the people know, what are you drinking this evening?
All right. Tonight I am drinking Columbus Brewing Company's Bodhi Double India Pale Ale. I don't think I've ever had this on the podcast, but I have had it before. It is 8.3% ABV. And it doesn't have, a lot of these will have like a little description of what it is, but it's just a double IPA and it's hoppy.
A little hoppy there.
It's really good. It's one of the few IPAs that I see consistently. Like if I go on the Untapped app, it's one of the ones that is a good amount between 4.1 and 4.2 rated. And it doesn't go below that. And that's, typically you're looking at 3.5 to 4 is a pretty good beer or a decent beer. I don't usually buy anything below 3.5 because I'm guessing if they don't like it, I probably won't either. But yeah, it's a really good beer. So Columbus Brewing Company, Bodhi, this one's a really good one. They've got some other ones that aren't as highly rated. So I picked this one instead of there's the other one was Technicolor Hat.
Okay.
That one didn't look like it was very highly rated. So I picked this and it's a good choice. I'll be what do they say? Is it 2 sheets to the wind? 2 something to the wind?
Three sheets.
Three sheets to the wind by the end of this for sure.
Yes. And I used to know, I just heard like where 3 sheets to the wind came from.
Okay.
And now I forgot it though. So,
but
luckily, that's right, Google machine. So 3 sheets to the wind. The sheet is the line that controls the sails on a ship. If the line is not secured, the sail flops in the wind and the ship loses headway and control. And that's where the 3 sheets to the wind came from.
Again, I will be 3 sheets to the wind by the end of this podcast, most likely.
Very nice. Very nice. And the name of that beer, Bodhi, just randomly reminded me of one of my all-time favorite movies, Point Break. Just classic.
I've never watched it.
What? Oh, jeez, Pete.
Yeah. What kind of movie is it? Is it action?
It is action. It's you don't watch action.
I mean, I've never been like people are all into
fan.
Die Hard and stuff. I just don't care.
Oh, I love Die Hard.
Yeah, I just
love it.
Like, oh wow, there's an explosion. Okay, there's another one. Oh,
yeah, that's fair.
What tool did that guy use to get out of this situation? Is this MacGyver? What do you have? Is it a paperclip?
That is fair. That is fair. This is a classic. This is classic Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. Yes. Way back in the day, little bank robbery surfing. It's a pretty cool movie.
I do like heist movies. I'm a big fan of a heist. There's one with Denzel. What's it called? Heist movie.
Denzel. Man,
Inside Man.
what do we ever do without Google?
Would know nothing. Or would maybe we'd be more accurate in what we did know. I read this on the interwebs.
That's right.
As
stuff.
Facebook shows with all my family members.
Gotta love them.
Did you fact check that at all? It was on the internet. Yes, it was.
Everything's true. Everything's true on the internet.
So you said Point Break, is that what it was called?
Yeah, I love that movie. It's classic. But I mean, if you don't like action movies, you may not like it. But if you like the heist movies,
I like the heist stuff. I'm a big fan of I like the thriller mystery stuff, like I don't know, Dan Brown, like Angels and Demons, that kind of stuff. I like when there's some sort of like you got to really think about it. Yeah. So
no, I like that as well. I don't like a whole lot.
I think they're like cerebral thriller or something.
Yeah. I don't like a whole lot of out of this world type stuff. I do like more of the this could happen type movies.
So like Speed.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic movie. Glad you brought that up.
Somebody was speaking of Keanu and his excellent acting chops. Somebody mentioned that recently, like, okay, that bus when it jumps, like I guess it jumps something, like there's no way that it would maintain its 50-mile-an-hour speed when it made that jump. So
yeah, not possible.
So anyways, let's move on since we're already off topic and we're just
already.
And it wasn't me this time.
No, that was me. That was my fault. Sorry about that, guys. We'll bring it back around here.
You have a beer with you tonight?
I do. We're getting close to the holiday season here, the fall season. My wife loves Halloween. Halloween is a huge deal around here. So okay. I like Halloween beers. Yeah. So I've got Mad Tree Pumpkin.
Okay.
This is a spiced ale. It is 7.9%. Spiced ale with cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, allspice, and molasses.
Okay.
I don't know if I've had this one. I probably have.
I looked at that twice. I looked at it today and I passed on it. And I looked at it when I bought. I got two other beers in the fridge. They're both pumpkin. My favorite is the Pumpkin Southern.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
This one's good, but I prefer the Pumpkin Nitro. That's even better. For me, it's more, I don't know if that makes it more, I don't want to say more milky, but that's what it seems like in my head. Like this wasn't as good as the Nitro, which is what I bought a lot last year.
Gotcha.
And then I also have this one called Whole Hog, and it is a pumpkin ale. And I strongly dislike this beer, but I've been drinking it because I paid for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not very good. I mean, beer, I enjoy it, but it's so expensive. If you screw up and get one that's not good, you wasted $10 to $15 minimum.
Unless you buy High Life, then you're good.
So what do you think of that beer? How's it taste?
It's very good. It's actually pretty smooth with the spice. They've put a pretty good little balance here, especially at this high. I mean, 7.9 is that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Alcohol content as well.
Maybe I'll have to try it.
Yeah, it's good. I really like the fall beers. Yeah. I like the dark beers. I
do too. I've gotten more into those for sure. Like I'm more into stouts than I ever was. The milk stouts are good. The one that you had, recommended was it Samuel Smith? Is that what it's called?
Yes. The chocolate, organic chocolate stout. I think that's my favorite. Like right now, that beer is so good.
It's very good.
I had one last week. It is fantastic. Just perfect blend. Yeah, good stuff.
Awesome.
Good beers this week. Good beer.
Yeah, we're getting into, I mean, fall is here. I mean, we're pretty much there. I think fall, when does fall begin? Does it begin this week? I believe the 21st, 22nd, maybe. I might be a month off. My dad mentioned something and he's usually not right. So
Wednesday, September 22nd. You were correct. 2 days.
All right. Well, fall is almost here, and it does look like coming in Thursday here in Ohio. We've got rain forecast a lot this week. We've got a cold front coming in. I know the high on Thursday is like 73, I think, at least in Dayton. So we're usually pretty similar in temperatures. My parents up on Lake Erie in Sandusky, their high is only in the 60s somewhere. So it's a lot different. It's very different for them. In the summer, they're very close to us, maybe a degree or two off. But once it comes to the colder weather, they're always a lot colder based on being on Lake Erie. So anyways, moving on. How can you connect with us? Well, we have, as the podcast Flip It Curiously, we have a YouTube channel that we'd love for you to subscribe to. And if you want to watch us instead of listening, you can certainly do that.
Both.
Any comments you'd love to make, please do so on our videos. I have been checking those a little more often. We're getting a few more comments here and there. And then we also have flipitcuriously@gmail.com. We are looking for listener questions. If anybody has any questions, comments, you want to say anything, we'd love to hear from you. And Brendan, have you sent Kurt his stickers yet?
Sorry, Kurt.
You've got a neutral feedback now on that.
Yeah, it's past neutral. That's poor. That's bad feedback there for sure. Did you send me that email, or is it in the?
It's in Flip It Curiously emailed, and then okay. I did pass it on to your email.
Okay, to my Gmail, which I just deleted all 23,000 emails I have. So
those are those. And then we also do have buymeacoffee.com/flipitcuriously. As we continue to grow, anybody who does want to donate to our cause of educating other people and drinking while we do it, you're more than welcome to also do that. And then I'll go ahead and talk about my social media. You can connect with me on Instagram, flipitdu. I think I'm going to start a Facebook one as well, which I think you said you have also.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I'm going to do that where it's just mimics the Instagram for people who like Facebook better. And I also cross post those to my personal account as well. And then Flip It Downside Up on YouTube. If you'd like to subscribe and follow me, I haven't done a video in over a month, but I've got some footage and I'm hoping to sit down this week and actually do it. Lots going on. So it's taken a back seat, but I do want to say that this weekend I had 3 big milestones. I hit 400 followers on Instagram. I was really happy about that.
Nice.
I hit 100 subs on YouTube this weekend also. And I also hit 11,000 in 90-day sales for the first time ever. So milestones, it's all of that stuff is motivational for me. So if you'd like to connect with me, those are the ways you can do it. And then for Brennan, what are the best ways to connect with you?
So we've got YouTube, The Curious Picker, as well as Instagram and Facebook. All 3 of those, Curious Picker, you can reach out to me there. I do tend to respond pretty frequently, at least on YouTube. Instagram, I've been a little behind on Instagram. I haven't done a whole lot of posting there here recently.
I haven't seen a whole lot lately.
I just haven't had the time, really.
You got to be in the mood to do it too. And
yeah,
Instagram is not profitable. It's not bringing money in, but it could potentially, which is why I'm trying to put a little bit of time in a couple times a week. I'm not great at it, but I'm trying.
It can definitely help. It can definitely help grow your
Mhm.
like your user base and your following. I think I was talking with John earlier, and there's a group that he follows. I think it's Mojo Cashers, I think.
Okay.
Um, and they're on Instagram, and he will sell things to them, like mostly I think they do lots of clothing,
Okay.
lots of like cool t-shirts and things like that. And they've got a really good Instagram following, so they use Instagram a lot for their promotion of their items, and they've got a big enough following for that odd type of thing, and that they're able to sell a lot of things that we would have a tough time selling ourselves
That's awesome.
because of not having that group. So
Yeah.
it's definitely useful if you've got the time to really push it that way. I just haven't really done it that way, unfortunately, but maybe someday. We'll see.
I understand that. All right. Well, moving on. Let's go into our sports minute.
Oh yeah.
The Browns win.
Sports. Hey,
The Browns win. I would say a win is a win. After watching yesterday's game, it was kind of an up and down, but I don't know about you. I never felt like, even when I heard they were losing, I was driving home for the first hour from Kentucky, and I never felt like they were going to lose that game. And that's what's been great about them the last year or so, is like, there's been games where you don't think, like, even if the other team starts to come back or they start strong, there's certain teams where I'm just like, I'm not concerned. They're going to win this game. And honestly, last year, that Jets game where we had no wide receivers, I thought, I was confident until the very end of that game that we were going to, until it came to the point where you could tell we couldn't come back. I thought for sure, we got this. Like, this team's good enough. We got Chubb and Hunt. We've got this. And it didn't work because there was literally no one to throw to.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough when you have no receivers, of course. I had the same feeling as I was watching Red Zone.
Yeah.
I had the same ADD football. I love it. It's so great. Except for the 4 minutes where it went offline. That was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like early.
Itself, or was it your internet? It was.
No, it was actually Red Zone. Yeah, so it was like, I mean, it was early on. It was like maybe 15 minutes into the 1 o'clock games. And yeah, it just stopped working for a while, which it's funny. I'm sure there are lots of people like, what's going on?
Who hosts that? Is that NFL Network? Red Zone, or is it its own entity?
It's its own entity. It's not NFL Network. Okay. I know the host is Scott Hansen.
Okay. They have Andrew Siciliano on any of that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it depends on. I think if you have Direct TV, it's Siciliano.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
If you're going through anything else, it's Scott Hansen. I think that's the way that's set up.
Yeah, Andrew lives out in LA, if I'm not mistaken. I think he covers pretty extensively the Rams and those teams out there, but he is a huge Browns fan. And I follow him on Twitter because he always has comments about, I think he's from the area or worked in the area up in Cleveland at some point. So, okay. But so I came up with something as I was getting ready about an hour ago for the podcast, and I thought, you know what, let's make this segment a little more formatted, and let's say it's the good, the bad, and the ugly of yesterday's game. So I've got a list of things that I think are good, bad, and ugly in that game. So I'm going to start with the good. And the first one I have is Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit made his NFL debut after tearing his ACL in the preseason last year. He's an LSU grad. I'm an LSU fan, so I wanted him badly. I knew how good he was. I think he won the award one of the awards for best defensive back or something, or it was an All-American or something, I think, at safety. But he had a monster sack. He about took that dude's head off. I don't know if you saw. Did you see that play? Oh, I sent it to you guys.
Yeah, that was. Whew.
So
that looked like it hurt.
Yeah, he had that sack. Excuse me. He forced the fumble on that play. He had 3 solo tackles, 2 assisted tackles. In the play before that sack, you were watching Red Zone. I was watching the game. I like to see every single thing that happens so I can criticize it and listen to the radio and listen to them criticize it. The play before that, he dropped an interception. It was one of those where the guy missed and it went right, like it was right to him, but he wasn't able to haul it in. And the next play, he knocked that guy's Davis Mills, whoever that is, they knocked his head off. So I will say, in terms of the good, what I put, he brings speed and awareness to that safety position. And I feel like the guys they brought in should be able to do, but I don't see that with either of the other players. And I'm getting a little nervous about the ones they brought in, because the Hill guy's injured of some, I don't know if he played or not, but he seems to be injured. And this Johnson guy keeps getting it. It's like he keeps rubbing his hamstring and stuff. And it's like, what's going to happen? But the thing, Delpit he's so much faster than Ronnie Harrison. He should be, at some point, he should be one of the starters. He showed a lot to me yesterday. I thought he was one of the good yesterday.
So my good, the obvious good is that they won.
Yep.
I think that's the obvious good. But I'm gonna go with Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
And when you look at if you're a fantasy player, if you're looking at fantasy stats, you're looking at, you're looking for 10,000 yards, touchdowns, like that, you're not going to exactly see that right now from Baker, because the game plan is, we've got a great offensive line, great running backs. We're going to run the ball and don't screw it up, basically, right? And I don't want to call him a game manager, because he's definitely more than that.
Yes.
So this game, he scored a rushing touchdown. He had 1 pick.
Yeah.
The pick was not on him.
Nope.
That doesn't show in the box score. It shows as a pick for him. But that was a receiver the receiver not completing his route, which caused that pick.
Yep.
So, and you mentioned this earlier about his completion percentage.
Yep.
So in the past, the first 2 games of this season, so I think the first game he was 90%, or no, this game he was 90%.
It's 19 of 21 this week.
90.5%. Like that's near perfect when it comes to passing the football. 213 yards, touchdown rushing, and a pick. Then I think last week I think overall he is 81.6%.
He is,
completion.
and I think he leads the league in completion percentage right now.
Like that is, I mean, that's amazing precision, accuracy, like knowing the offense, knowing exactly where you need to go with the ball. And I dare you, outside of Cleveland, outside of Odell Beckham, who hasn't played 2 games, to name his number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bunch of, I don't want to say a bunch of guys, because these are the best of the best. It's NFL.
They're not bad, but he doesn't have a star.
No, there's no one that you're like, if you're a defensive coordinator, there is no receiver right now that you're like, we stop this guy, we can win the game.
Right.
And I think that's a testament to him also spreading the ball around and knowing exactly what he needs to do. So my good is Baker.
Yeah. Do you know any other quarterback in the league who was really good at distributing the ball and not ever having a really top receiver? Do you know anybody else like that? I mean, I might think of one.
I got one. He's a little old.
He's a little old.
He's a little old. He's in that state where people like to go to retire.
Yeah. But he's gonna go win a Super Bowl this year, anyways.
Probably. He's gonna go ahead and take himself another one. Yes, that guy.
Yeah,
that guy is.
Brady did the same thing, and his completion percentages were great. And what ended up happening is he ended up compiling stats the more he got used to playing his style of ball. And with the running backs they've got, I had Baker on the list of good also. He gets a bad rap, but Baker Mayfield got hurt after the interception, trying to make the tackle after the receiver didn't run his route, which caused the interception. And then he went in the back and popped his shoulder back into place. It was dislocated, popped it back into place, came back, completely changed the game plan to screens and short passes, went 19 of 21 and won the game. Oh, also ran that touchdown after he popped his shoulder. I was like, oh, God, don't get hit.
Yeah.
Was, boom. But I texted you and I said, one thing Baker has not done over these years is when he has green in front of him, he doesn't seem to run. He's still looking around. And I was really glad to see him have the awareness to say, I can get that first down or I can get that touchdown, because we had 1 yard. The 1 yard line would be first down. So we had a chance to get a first down without a touchdown even. So, but that play was awesome. And
yeah, that was fantastic.
So Baker, and let's talk a little bit about his one touchdown pass. Demetric Felton, I heard on the radio today that guy. Now, I'm not a fan of what he's doing in the return game. That their special teams are not real good. Yeah. I'm not happy with their special teams. But Felton was in on 3 snaps. He was targeted twice. He caught 2 catches, 51 yards, and had one of the most amazing touchdowns. 33-yard touchdown reception. He was spinning, juking, knocking guys off. It was amazing. 2 targets on the field 3 times. I get that they don't have a lot of room for other people, but are you telling me that like Harrison Bryant, the third tight end, is more important than putting a guy on the field who has the speed and ability and agility to do what he does? You're telling me that once Jarvis Landry went out and Peoples-Jones had a fumble, was never targeted again after that. Anthony Schwartz, didn't finish his route, never was targeted after that. You're telling me that a guy like Felton couldn't have been even more positive in that game yesterday? I was really impressed with him, and he is I think he's a running back out of UCLA, I believe.
Okay, interesting.
He's amazing, though. He's the kind of guy that I'd love to see compete on the team. And then you're a fantasy guy. The other guy I put down was Nick Chubb. What can you say about Nick Chubb? He had 95 yards rushing, 21 yards receiving, a touchdown, just an amazing touchdown. It wasn't like, he found exactly where the crease was and was not touched one time. He outran everybody. And he averages 6.8 yards per carry in the league, and he's scored a touchdown in the last 8 games that he has played in. He's never going to be the league leader in rushing or score the most touchdowns because they have so many weapons. But this guy is one of the best in the NFL, and he does not get the credit that he deserves for that. He wins us games in the fourth quarter.
He is one of my absolute favorites.
He's awesome, and he's a good dude.
He is just a football player. He is very quiet. Like, you don't hear anything from him. He just goes out and he plays. But one thing you brought up was that you won't see him leading the league in touchdowns and whatnot. The one thing I think they're doing with him, which is great, because they have so many weapons as well, and because running back is such a brutal position to play, they're not just trying to waste him. They're not just trying to say, hey, you know what, you're going to run 30 times a game. We'll use you for 2 years and then you'll be washed up, right? Yep. So he had 11 attempts yesterday for 95 yards. Yep. Do you know how many attempts Derrick Henry had yesterday? Crap ton. 35.
Guess whose career is done in about 2 years?
35. Yep. That's 3 times the amount of attempts that Chubb had yesterday. Like, that is an insane amount. Yeah. Now Derrick Henry he's a beast. I mean, we're not a Titans podcast or whatever, but this dude, I was just looking at his stats. He has, for his career, so he started in 2016. He has got 1,234 rushing attempts in his career so far. I'm surprised he's not done already. Yeah. Like, that is insane. But he's a beast. He's built from a different
His shelf life, though, like he's at the end of his shelf life.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion.
I mean, running him that much, I mean, he ran 378 times last year, 303 the year before. Like he doesn't, unless he's got something that we don't know about. I don't know how much longer you can keep that up
Right.
at that position.
And I listened to 92.3 The Fan out of Cleveland. I listened to them this morning and they said the same thing. They said, you know what they're doing with Chubb that I love is they're making him a 10+ year career by running him the way they're running him. You know, the guy had injuries in college, like first game of the year. I think it was against, I don't know if Georgia played Ohio. Maybe it wasn't Ohio State, but he tore his ACL one year, first game of the year, and he was going to be the guy. But anyways, he's amazing, and he's just a good guy. I watch him after he gets tackled, and I'm always looking to see, is he gonna, you know, I'm wondering if he's gonna show any emotion, like, you know, get upset at a guy for doing something, and he's never, I mean, he's even keeled the whole time, and you very rarely see him in any outburst. I don't think I ever have.
I don't think I have either.
But he's awesome. And then the last thing I'll say about the good is the run defense is a good run defense. We're 9th in the league this year, only 77.5 yards per game. I will say that they seem to be able to stop the run pretty well. Let's go on to the bad.
Or the bad and the ugly are the same thing, right?
Say that. What's that? The bad and the, I got two different ones. So for the bad, I went and I put Jarvis Landry's injury. But I also put Jedrick Wills' injury. Jedrick Wills he forced his way back into that game to start yesterday, and he was taken out because he can't play. He was not doing well. And what they were saying this morning was, I hope that he does not. I hope this doesn't set him back even further, which it could, because you see those offensive linemen, when they have an issue with the leg, it lingers and it affects them the whole year. And I'm hoping he sits out. The guy who came in for him, I don't remember who it was, maybe Blake Hance again, the guy named Blake that met Baker before the game last year. Whoever came in ended up coming in and filling in pretty well for him. But then that Jarvis injury, he's got an MCL sprain. It looks like it's day-to-day, but he'll probably be out a few weeks. So I would say for me, that's the bad.
No, it's a good call. My bad was just going to be the defense. Just the defense.
No, I got the ugly here. So the ugly, I'm going to start with Anthony Schwartz. Anthony Schwartz, the wide receiver who did not complete his route. Baker threw the ball to him where he was supposed to be at the end of his route. He stopped, looked at the defender, did not finish his route, and the ball went right to the defender because he didn't finish his route. That's ugly. That guy had a great first game. He was terrible yesterday, was not used, and I think it was almost like a punishment for doing what he did. That's unacceptable in the NFL. And for a guy who trained in the offseason with Jerry Rice, I'm sure he wouldn't be okay with that. So I got Anthony Schwartz, and then the pass defense. The pass defense.
My goodness.
They have the 10th most pass yards this season per game, 272 yards per game. I don't like when people get injured often, but it's a good thing for them that Tyrod Taylor got injured, because he was carving them up. And I'll tell you what, he was targeting Denzel Ward, and he was killing Denzel Ward. He was not playing well in the secondary. They literally could not get off the field on third downs last week, or when Tyrod Taylor was in there in the game. But once that rookie came in, he had no shot. He had maybe 2 series where he was okay, but they really did not have a shot after that. But God, that pass defense, I don't know if we talked about it. Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator, I would think he's on a pretty short leash right now.
I would think so as well. Like I said, week one made sense to me. Like, you're playing Mahomes, you're in Kansas City, Tyreek Hill. Like, okay, I'll let it slide. But then yesterday, Ravens down 2 cornerbacks. Tyreek Hill only gets 3 receptions for 14 yards. So
I can't believe that. I didn't
I
see.
mean, yeah, I mean, that's so yeah, the defense was very, very disappointing
Yeah,
yesterday. And it's it's
against the
sad
Bears
when you're
team. That's not a good team. Um,
there.
they
They're
should be. They were supposed to be the worst team in the league this year, and it looks like the Jaguars might be the worst.
yeah, I think the Jaguars are probably
The
the worst
Jets
team.
are. Oh my! The
The
Jets.
Jets are not good.
That
Jets are not
quarterback
good.
had three interceptions in the first half, four
Yeah.
interceptions overall, and at the half he was like, he had four receptions or four completed passes and four interceptions at the same time.
I mean, Belichick will do that to you as a rookie. That's
True. That's true.
that will definitely happen. They yeah, the defense just wasn't good. It's sad to say that we needed Tyrod Taylor to not be playing. I don't know how much of Taylor's success was knowing Cleveland. I mean, it was
I
a
wonder
different coaching staff when he was there.
It was, but he knows. Denzel Ward came in the same year Baker did, which was the rookie year Tyrod was there, so he knows Denzel Ward's tendencies.
Yeah, I mean,
Ward is a good back, a good defensive back, but I personally think he's an overrated back that doesn't get targeted as much as
he should.
Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, and Tyrod is. I mean, he's been around. Like he's not Patrick Mahomes, but he is a very smart. He understands football very well. He knows that position very well. And if he has a weakness and he spots it, I mean, he's going to take advantage of it. So yeah, I don't want to see him get hurt. I hope he gets to come back and finish the season out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
hopefully we'll.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said his injury was a hamstring, and unfortunately, as we're seeing in the defense, man, I don't know what it is with this league. You didn't watch the game in real time. You were watching the red zone. I kid you not. Anybody who watched the Browns game, and I know we're talking about this a long time, but this is a chance for us to talk too.
Right.
I have never seen so many injury timeouts in my life. It was nonstop. There had to be at least 15 players, if not more, that had injury timeouts and left the game, came back in, whatever it was. It was nonstop.
Wow. Is that conditioning, you think, with it being early in the season, lack of preseason play?
I want to know, because someone called the radio show and said, what is going on? How are these players getting injured so easily? Well, none of them, they don't do anything in the off season anymore. They don't really do
much. Tackle.
They can't tackle. You're not doing it. They're not playing preseason games anymore, and I will give the defense a little bit of a pass. You got 2 more weeks, 2 more games. You got the Bears next week against a rookie quarterback, most likely, because Dalton's out, I think.
Yep.
And then you got the Vikings the weekend after. I think the Bears is a winnable game. It seems like their defense is okay, but the Vikings have a really good offense, the kind of offense with Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Kirk Cousins that could carve up that defense as they are currently. They have 2 more weeks to prove to me that they can play defense. That defensive line had no pressure the entire game. Myles Garrett does not look good. He looks winded. And Daryl Ryder, who is one of the beat reporters, mentioned today, he's like, when he first got COVID, I said, I'm really scared about the long-term effects on Myles Garrett. And it's showing he still does not have his wind back. And that man is chiseled like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And he's huffing and puffing, sat out a couple series even. And that's scary. There was no pressure most of the game. Thank God for Delpit on that one play.
Yeah. Which is I mean, they should have so much pressure.
They should.
Between him and Clowney. I mean,
there was none.
Yeah. I'm hoping they get it together this week. Because like you said, you get Bears this week, but then you've got Vikings, Arizona. Both of those offenses are very good.
Arizona is a complete team. That's going to be the hardest game in the next couple. I mean, we could lose some of these games, but I think they should be able to beat the Bears and the Vikings. Arizona is going to be.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough one. They've played really well to start the season.
Very much so.
But anyways, that is our Sports 30. Again, we're talking about things that we enjoy, and that it's our chance to be sportscasters and
Right.
and
Monday morning
do something that
quarterbacks.
we enjoy doing, and no, we'll never get to do. So
Well, hey, I mean, we could just start a sports podcast. I mean, anyone could do it, right?
shoot, we get John in there, we get a bunch of listeners right away. I mean,
All
come
right,
on.
let's do it.
I wouldn't mind doing that. I love sports. I love to just talk about it and argue about it and stuff. But
Yeah, I do as well. I think that maybe in the future, maybe we'll
yeah,
put together a little sports
see what we can do.
podcast.
Yeah. So let's move on to our weekend reselling. It seems to be the last couple of weeks have still been good for all of us.
Mhm.
You know, just judging by our group text, you, John, and I, we've had a lot of good things happen here in the last couple of weeks, minus a coffee maker. So, but that went well for some of us.
It went well for one of us.
Just listening
Not so much for me, but
Right.
hey, you know, it happens. It happens.
Oh man. All right. Let's go to our find of the week so far. Yeah. Find of the week.
Find of the week. Find of the week. I've got a good find of the week.
Okay. I've got a couple. I think I'll just probably go with. I got two. I'll probably go with. But
Two. All right.
you ready? You can go ahead with yours if you'd like.
Yeah. Do you enable screen sharing?
I wish it just let it so that it always worked. I had some of this set up prior to. I should have just one participant can share. Did that give you the option to share?
Yep.
Okay.
I can share. Screen. All right. All right. Can you see that there?
Bang & Olufsen.
That's right.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
So I went to an estate sale in Indian Hill, which in Cincinnati is one of the most illustrious places I guess you could live in Cincinnati. Very, very high value homes, very, very expensive homes there. This home was not anything super special, but it still, because of where it's at, it was probably a $400,000, $500,000 home. But anyway, so at the sale, they had a Bang & Olufsen turntable. It was I forgot the name. It was a Beowulf something.
Definitely a Beowulf.
Bears something.
You sent that yesterday, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, as a Beogram.
Okay.
So I don't want to give away too much because that's going to be my bolo later. But so I bought this turntable for $30. The turntable itself it's not bad. It didn't look like it was in great condition, and a lot of times with turntables, they're very difficult to ship safely. You've got to really know what you're doing with a lot of them, especially the ones that have the metal turntables inside them. There's a lot of work that goes into actually putting those together and shipping them properly. So I really didn't feel like messing with this one. So I paid $30 for it. I looked up the cartridge, as I always do on any turntable that I see, and the MMC5 is the cartridge that this one has. I've seen two comps for new, or one new for $250, a used one for $250 with the manual and the case and everything kind of tested. So mine is not really tested. So I went ahead and threw it out here at $180. That might be a little high for an untested, but I think at the very least, I'll be able to get $100 out of this cartridge. So I put it out there today at 180. So we'll let it sit for a little bit and see how that goes. And then I'm going to put the record player, I'm just going to put in our sale, which is this weekend.
Oh yeah, good idea. That's really good. You guys have that option I wish I could bring some of my larger stuff down there for that. Like, that's the kind of thing that you guys have a place to do that, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. I mean, I know the guy. You could, I'm sure you could bring some stuff down for sure. So I'm gonna throw it in there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I paid 30 total. I'm probably just gonna put that in there for maybe 15 or 20. And then
Okay.
obviously, getting this to sell for 100 or so, and I'll be very satisfied with that. So Bang & Olufsen MMC5 cartridge. That is my find of the week.
That's banging.
I like that. Banging. Hilarious.
All right. Let's see. I've got a couple finds of the week. Where's my, let me get my, I didn't write them down like I was going to, because the kid was like, I need help.
Those kids.
All right. So find of the week. Let's talk about our Bolo last week for a minute.
Yes.
Last week's Bolo for Brennan was Acorn Media DVDs. That was Friday night we recorded. The following day, I went out to some sales. I went to a community sale in downtown Dayton in one of the historic districts. It was not very good. I left, went up to near the Fairborn area to another community sale. It was also not great. It was a retirement community, and there were only 3 houses there. So where that's located is one of my favorite Goodwills that I go to when I pick my son up in Columbus, drive back down Route 70, get off on 675, and on my way home off of 675 is this Goodwill on Dayton Yellow Springs Road. So I stopped in there and I went through, was looking at the toys, which is where I usually start, and I didn't find any of it. So I went over to the DVDs, which were put in a different location, and I noticed there were some BBC Network DVDs. So I started looking some of them up. I looked about 3 up, and I looked up, and on the very top shelf, just lined on the top of the shelf, were 18 seasons of Midsummer Murders, which is seemingly one of the most valuable series of the Acorn Media. So 18 seasons of Midsummer Murders were sitting there. There was one called The Good Neighbors. I've sold that. There was one called the Cadfael something collection, which is a PBS show. Sold that. I sold both of those for 25. I sold another one for 25. I can't remember exactly. Oh, that was called is it Upstairs, Downstairs? Is that what that one? You found that one as well.
Yep.
That was not an Acorn Media. That's A&E Network DVDs. And then I found one called The Pallisers. I found one called Bergerac, Inspector Morse, the Miss Marple collection, Back to the Future PlayStation 3 game. I bought 28. Is that right? 28 or 27 DVDs or whatever. And I looked later and he charged me only $2.99 for each one of those. So when you look at that total, I paid $95 for 28-ish items. And I've already sold 75 worth. I've got the Midsummer Murder, the 18 of those up for 275. I've got some watchers on actually all of the other DVD sets that I have listed. I've got watchers on each one of those, I believe. So that was awesome. And I knew about BBC. I always look those up. I knew about Acorn Media. I've known that for a while, but you reminded me, and it was just so weird. It's like you spoke it into existence. It happened the next day. I loaded my cart up. Again, 28 box sets basically of DVDs. And the guy, I got really lucky. The guy only charged me $2.99 because they did not put labels on them. And typically those would have been a heck of a lot more at a Goodwill, being that they were box sets.
Yeah, they're probably looking at $4.99 to $6.99.
At least $6.99 is what I was thinking. And when you said 95, I thought it was a little high, but I was like, okay, it's, whatever. And I'm really happy. That's going to be a really good deal once I sell, the Midsummer Murders. I would take all the way down to 200, maybe even little less, but I put it up where I saw it. I saw 1 through 18 pre-owned, sold comp for 300. So I put it up at 275, no offers yet. And then I'll add offers in about a month, maybe a couple weeks. We'll see. You know, for me, it's one of those things now where I want to start moving products, but I am trying to be strategic about some of the things I do. So that was an awesome find. And it's funny because that next day after I texted you, you're like, I'm going back to that sale. And you did, and you picked up how many different Acorn DVDs? They were all
So
box sets, right? They were mostly individual or a mix.
it was a mix. There were some that were box. There were a few individual, but a lot of them were individual, but the same thing, right? So there were, I think I ended up with, I want to say 8 to 10 Midsummer Murder, or maybe I think it was eight series of Midsummer Murder, a bunch of Inspector Morse, couple others. So I don't remember the number off the top of my head now of how many I picked up.
But
it was, I mean,
something, wasn't it?
I think so. It was like 50 something.
58, 56, 58, I think is what you told
something
us.
around there. And it was basically, I think I paid $60.
Yeah.
For
awesome.
all of them.
That's awesome. Guys, keep an eye out for the BBC Network DVDs. Like if you just found one Midsummer Murder, I left some. There were some Blu-ray of the newer seasons, and I looked them up and I was like, I wasn't going to lot them with the DVDs. And I didn't like the sold comps because I didn't know how much they were going to charge for them. I was like, 10, 15 bucks. I don't know if they're going to charge me 3 or 5 or 6. I don't know what they're going to charge me. So I left those there, and I left a bunch of Sherlock Holmes. There's a bunch of Sherlock Holmes DVD sets. And honestly, had I known it was going to be $2.99, I probably would have picked those up too, because I would have profited on all of that stuff had I.
Yep.
But I left them. But that was just so awesome. The day after we talked about the bolo, that we both were like, "Yep."
I don't know. I mean, that's crazy. That
I walked out of the store and
way.
was like shaking, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I found 18 seasons of Midsummer Murders," which is really sort of the bolo of bolos of those networks shows. Like, look out for big lots of Midsummer Murders. So that was awesome. So that was one find. I'm going to share my screen for this find. I went to the thrift store the other day and it went really well. Let's see. Share screen. All right.
Cute baby.
But oh yeah, that's my baby. All right. So this was another find I found at the thrift store the other day. I found 4 really good items there. I found for $2.99. I found this guy here. This is the Halloween Village Accessory Department 56 Haunted Rails Straight Track. The curved track is not worth very much, but apparently the straight track has a lot of value. So this is the straight track. I paid $2.99 for these. I found 2 of them sitting on the bottom shelf at a thrift store that is not very well attended. I was really happy with these. So this is what they are. My other listing, I actually have them turned. That bothers me that I didn't turn that, but whatever. But $2.99 a piece. I found both of those, and I have them listed pre-owned. They're selling brand new, which these are pre-owned, but you could barely used. They're selling for $160 plus brand new each. So I got 2 boxes of these listed. I put them at $135 a piece. I did. Looks like I did put offer on it. I did put offer, but I did not promote it because I'm like, okay, people who want these are probably have a notification saying that, so I was like, I'm not going to promote it yet. But if I don't see any action in this next week, that gives me a month before Halloween. So I want to get them promoted. So found 2 of those that day, $3 a piece. If you look up, what's that?
What made you look that up? Like
Department 56
Department 56.
Halloween Village.
That's what made you look it up.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll look up anything Department 56, especially if it's Halloween. Yep.
Makes sense.
I've been getting into the Halloween stuff. As John said, Halloween sells better than Christmas does.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And people who like Halloween, as you know, love Halloween. I mean,
Yep.
there's a house I pass all the time down here by our house. It's just they have so many statues and things out in their front yard. It's crazy. Those people really, really, really love Halloween. At the same thrift store, I paid $50 for this. Now, I'm hoping, based on other comps, I cannot find the exact model of these. I bought hearing aids.
Oh, wow.
These are Audicon, and I wear hearing aids, and my battery is a 312. The box said untested. Well, guess what? My battery fit. So I tested them there, and they worked. They were pretty gross. There was a lot of earwax. It was pretty nasty, but I got it as close as I could to make sure they worked. These are like in the ear, full shell, they're called.
Oh, wow.
I can't find the exact model. I'm real confused by their lingo. In the thing has the card of the guy that sold them. I might actually contact him or my audiologist, who is very cool. And she asks me all the time if I've been finding good stuff, because she knows that I'm doing this full time now. So I might contact her and ask her to help me get the exact model of what these are, what the MSRP is on something like this. I paid $50. I'm hoping I didn't overpay, but based on the sold comps of other Audicons, I should be okay. I just am hoping these are not custom fit to that ear. I don't know. So they work. And hearing aids, I paid a total of $7,000 for my hearing aids. So hearing aids cost a lot of money.
Jeez.
So, anyways, those are two of my finds of the week. The only other one I was thinking about, at the same place for $8, I bought a vintage Coleman cooler. I've got it right here. I'll at least show the people on the video. This thing is cool. For $8, I bought, it's a diamond. It's got the diamond logo. It's
I love those things.
in really good shape. It's got the diamond on the top. It's got the trim inside. It's in pretty good shape. So for $8, it does look like some of these. This one is definitely longer than some of the sold comps I've seen. They seem to sell for over $100 potentially. So we'll see. We'll see if I want to sell it that way or not. But for $8, I figured I could not pass on that. It's a really cool vintage piece also. So
at the very least, you can put it on Marketplace if you don't feel like doing eBay with it.
And maybe I'll do that, because again, $8, I think you'll find somebody who's interested in that. So, all right. So those are our finds of the week. I'm going to go ahead to my top sales. I've got two of them here. Number one is I sold, now this is the second time I sold this, the first time someone paid. This is the Canon SureShot AF35M2 Autoboy vintage 35 millimeter film camera. At the case, I found this at about 2:00 in the afternoon at a sale that had been going on for several days. I paid $4 for it, and it sold for $125 global shipping just the other day. I shipped it out today, actually. It sold this week.
That's awesome.
So that was a really cool one. Again, the point and click cameras, look them up. They're not all worth a ton, but there's some really great stuff there that you might not realize.
I've just been, if it's $3 or less, I'm just grabbing it.
Yeah.
I guess probably $5 or less for the most part. I'm just grabbing them and throwing them in. For the most part, you'll find them. They're going to be $1 to $3 most of the time.
Yeah, I went to an estate sale or two this weekend, and I found some, and I'm like, Nope, this one's not of quality. This one, like I will tell you what, estate sale prices are outrageous on the first couple days. Even when they say
Nonsense.
like 40% off, like I bought a little vintage uh, perfume actually that looks like I paid I paid $2. He said it was 40% off. It was $3 and it was 40% off. And he's like $2. And I'm like, your math is not accurate.
No, not quite.
But but anyways, it was fine. There's one that was brand new sealed that sold for over 200 recently, and I paid
Wow.
$2. It looks like it is full. It doesn't look like it's been used if so I bought it. There was only one sold comp. We'll see what happens, but they had some crazy prices on their cameras and stuff. So then a week prior on Thursday, I went to this was the estate sale. I told you I found this for $5. This is the lady who said she did not properly get it published. And so people like John did not see that it was it was happening.
Always good.
And the other reseller guy who I've seen before, an older gentleman, bought a bunch of the harmonicas, and I was looking at the ones he bought because he had them in a pile. I didn't know that he had picked them up. They were just in a pile in the middle of the room on top of other things they were selling there. It was really weird. And so I looked one or two of them up, and they were going for like maybe 60 or 50 a piece. He left. This is the only one he left. Okay, it was $5. I paid $5 and I sold it for 165 in a week. I listed it Monday, and I think it was sold Thursday. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so that was a really good find for me. I'm going to stop sharing here and let you go on to your sales of the week. Those are my two sales. I had pretty good sales over the weekend, especially. I'm really happy where I'm at. I've got a long way to go, but I had pretty good considering the amount I've been listing.
Yeah, no, those are fantastic. All right, so I will share. And so the first couple of my sales I'm going to go through have come from the Acorn Media.
We are
Acorn
right
Media
back at
stuff.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it just I have to. I feel like I need to go through these because a lot of these I did not know, what they were.
Yeah.
I saw Acorn Media. I'm like, all right, I'm buying everything. So I've got 4 sets here that I've sold so far. So this is Inspector or George Gently, not Inspector. Oh yeah, Inspector George Gently.
Okay.
So series 1 through 8. This one sold for 45. I think that is a complete series. I think it goes 1 through 8. This is not like this is not the physical box set that they make of it, but it's all of them together. So that one sold for 45, which I was pleased with. Nope, don't want to do that. Hey, go away. Yeah, there we go. We've got Upstairs, Downstairs, which I think you said you had as well.
Yeah, you sold it for more than I did.
Did you have it?
I put it for 25. I wanted to get rid of it quick.
Hey, yeah. Right on. Did you have the same one with the series and the bonus? So this is the complete with a bonus spin-off or whatever.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
So that one went for 34.
Nice. I guess I could have listed it higher.
Yeah, that one didn't take too long. I think it just sold recent. I packed that one up today, actually.
Okay.
And we've got The Last Detective, another complete collection. And this one went for 32.
God, I can't believe those were there on the last day.
I know. And I mean, at the end of the last day, like these were an hour away from going into the St. Vincent de Paul donation bin. Yeah, I mean, it was very, very last minute that I picked a lot of these up, which is just awesome. And John went to the sale before me that second day, and he said that
he went that day also.
Yeah. He said he went that day. He said he
did not go the first day, right? He decided not. And you killed it on that sale, right? That first day.
Yeah, the first day was awesome. Yeah, I picked up. Yeah, it's a great sale. It's such a good sale. Very big church. I mean, 114 years they've been doing the sale, so like it's a pretty big deal. Yeah, like it's a
What's the
pretty
church? Well, I guess I'll ask you offline. You can tell me what the church is.
yeah, we're gonna keep that to ourselves. No. Um, so yeah, John said he went and he walked in,
Mhm.
he saw that okay, there's DVDs here on the left, I'll get back to them. And he just never made it back around to him. So yeah, hey, lucky me.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the last one here on the DVDs was Prime Suspect. This one seems to be a really good one as well, if you ever see this one around. Again, it's a complete collection. So if you're lucky enough to find a complete collection set, complete collection box set, I think if you can find these for $5 or less, they're probably going to be worth it. Obviously, look it up to be sure. But
Anytime I see anything that says complete series or complete collection, I'm at least looking it up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep. Agreed. And then my other really good sale from this week, completely different from all of these. And let me go ahead and cover up that person there. So I bought this cash register probably about a month ago at a church sale for $8. It did not have the keys, so I did order the keys, which cost me another $8, and just kind of waited on those for a while before I listed.
Yeah.
So $16 in, sold for $123. I don't know why these sell for what they sell for, but this is a pretty nice little register. I was able to test it out, and it doesn't have. I'm assuming there should be some sort of a cover.
Definitely.
Here that's not there. So I'm not sure why these sell for what they sell for.
Well, think about it. If you, let's say your shop was an everyday shop, right? And you guys are thrifty people. Maybe you've got a boutique store in a downtown somewhere. You need a cash register. Do you want to pay the $300 or $500 for the brand new one, or are you going to go try to figure out where you can get one for cheaper? Especially if it's one of those stores that it's just starting and you're not really sure. Like, you've got to have a lot of things go right for you to make it.
Yeah,
you're going to want to buy something that's cheaper than something that's brand new, and at least that's my thought on it. That would be my guess.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good call. So yeah, that makes sense. So I was very happy with those sales, obviously.
Awesome.
And this cash register is very light as well. I know a lot of times you think cash registers can be very heavy. This one was a pretty light one. So if you ever see it around, Casio electronic cash register, at the very least, look it up.
That's awesome. All right. I'm going to go on to Bolo, and my Bolo this week, I found out about. I did an airbrush event down at University of Pikeville in Pikeville, Kentucky, which is way the hell away from here.
Sounds like it.
Oh, it was the longest. I mean, it was 4 hours and maybe, like, with my stop, about 4.5 hours. I had to stop and get out of the car to walk.
Yeah.
And just get up, and I'm not that old. I mean, I'm 40. My body was hurting just from being in the car as much as I was. So anyways, I went down there, went to this event. This poor guy that had this event set up, the football game got changed twice, this time to even later in the evening. The football game, this event was supposed to start at 8. The football game didn't get over until about 9:30. And it's a smaller school, and the people, so they had us doing airbrush hats and t-shirts. And then there was this company who was coming to put in a floor on the gym floor to do like roller skating and have music and stuff. Well, they either broke down or ran out of gas or something. They were supposed to be there at 5 o'clock, got there at 7 when we got there. They didn't get set up. It was supposed to start at 8. They didn't get set up till almost 9:15. I felt so bad for this guy. I have never done such a small event in my life. I did literally less than 15 hats. I'm typically doing 75 to 150 items per event based on, this was supposed to be a 3-hour event, and we really only airbrushed from maybe 9:30. I even stayed a half an hour later just in hopes that some football kids would come in. No, we ended up making shirts for the guy who was running it. He's in charge of campus activities and he's got intramural basketball. They are having a game next week. And so we made shirts for those guys. I mean, it was so disappointing, but anyways, what I did find out there is the guy who was the videographer is he does some YouTube stuff. He was a student there. He also is a big video game guy, I learned. And he had me do a shirt that said free M, capital M, lowercase v, capital C 2. And I said, what in the world is that? And he said, it's free. There's this movement in the video game community called Free Marvel versus Capcom 2. And there's a game called Marvel versus Capcom 2 that apparently Disney, who owns Marvel, will not allow to be produced right now. And I guess what it is this video game, if you look up the comps, Marvel versus Capcom 2, it's for like, I think PS2, Xbox, original Xbox, and Dreamcast. There's some really, really good sold comps, and it's because this game has not been produced well. I think it got produced once after that, and it was very, very poorly done, and the sales were bad, and Disney just said nope. So if you look up the sold comps, it's a pretty good pre-owned game if you ever do run across this. And in it, it's probably pretty rare, but I just thought, you know what? Sometimes you look through those games, you have no freaking idea what you're looking at if you don't see a Mario or a Zelda or something. You're not like, I look at the PS2 ones and you would think like Call of Duty would be a good game, right? Well, no, it's worth almost nothing most of the time. And there's been 8 billion versions of it. And so, you know, I don't know what to look for sometimes, but that's just something to put out to other people. Take a look at Marvel versus Capcom 2. I think Capcom did like Street Fighter, Mega Man, I think some of those games early on.
Jeez.
So there's some good soul comps there.
Yeah, PS2 soul comps are crazy. Like 169,
if you ever find it sealed, if you find it sealed, send it to one of the sham grading places and get it graded, because those are selling for thousands of dollars. So, but anyways, I wanted to share that. It was something I learned that I did not know about. I was like, I don't know what that is. I mean, and I should, maybe I shouldn't. I'm a Nintendo guy, and even then I don't know much. So yeah, wanted to put that out there for people. The fact that they've got a sort of movement going on right now on social media, like to free it as if it's in prison. I figured it's probably a good reason to say, hey, take a look and you know, keep an eye out for that particular item. So that's my bolo.
Yeah, that's a good bolo. Very good bolo. So I alluded to my bolo earlier with the Bang & Olufsen turntable. So specifically, what I've noticed, and this is obviously one of the great things about reselling, and I think we've mentioned this a lot, is, you know, if you're doing it right, you're going to continue learning. You're going to start finding things that you didn't know were worth a lot, right? Because of your research, you found one thing, you start researching it, other things pop up. So that's exactly what happened here. So again, the turntable that I picked up was Bang & Olufsen Biogram is the
Biogram. Okay.
I guess Biogram is the name, the brand, I guess, and then the numbers, right, are going to be your model, I guess, is kind of the way to look at that. So what I've noticed is that this 4002 is a very, very good brand. So as you can see, this one here for parts and repair sold for $330. So I don't know exactly what's wrong with this one, but it's listed as parts and repair and it's sold for 330 bucks. This one here, parts restoration. This one also has the cartridges, 510 bucks, which is just, it's crazy. And again, I will say, shipping these record players is not for the faint of heart. It is not
it's
not the easiest thing in the world to do. but I mean, it's doable, but basically what you'll have to do, anything like this, you're gonna have to take, you see this metal piece here, the turntable itself,
Yeah.
you're gonna wanna take that out.
Mm.
You're gonna wanna wrap that separately. Typically, if I do something like this, I would take that out, I would put that in its own record player or record
Box.
box is where
Okay.
I'd put
Like a
that in.
shipping box.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you would want to tape down
Yeah.
any of the arm pieces. You tape those down, and you also would tape down the case over top of it as well. It's just it's doable. You can definitely do it, but it is not like packing a video game. Like it's going to take some work and some trial and error. I've screwed up a couple of times with these before. Yeah, where I've had them show up busted, mainly because I didn't know to take out this piece initially.
What happened by not taking that piece out? Is it because it is not attached to anything?
Yeah, so this piece will come, it'll come loose, it'll crack the shell.
The shell.
Basically.
It could mess up the arm as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good to know. I would not have known to do that.
So yeah, I would say if you're lucky enough to find one that's this good,
yeah,
I would YouTube packing.
How to ship. Okay.
Yeah, because it's not easy. It's not as simple as a lot of things that we pack up. So
yeah.
And hey, that could be my tip of the week right there. If you find a really good record player, look up how to ship it so you can get it there safely and don't screw it up like I have done in the past.
Nice. All right. So you did your bolo, you did your tip. I don't have a tip written down, but I think if I don't know if I've ever said this before, but Instagram for resellers is a wealth of knowledge. There's a ton of stuff out there. People are posting what they find. People are posting how much they bought stuff for, what it's sold for. Some people put bolos out there. Some people, there's one girl, Cosmic Deal Heather, I think her name is. She might be the one, but she'll find things that are I think that's her. I might be wrong. She'll find things that are being discontinued or have been discontinued that you can still find in the store. You could find like maybe it's lip balm or maybe it's a shampoo or something like that. She posts a lot of stuff like that that shows, hey, be on the lookout for this stuff. I think Instagram is probably outside of YouTube. Now, YouTube is going to take a crap ton of your time to learn stuff because you have to watch through the videos and watch. For me, I actually enjoy watching. I'm the opposite of most people. Most people like to watch the footage of people picking things at sales. I don't like that at all. And I actually don't want to put that on my channel, even though I know that's what people want to see. And I think I'm getting to the point where I'm making decisions where I don't think that's going to be part of my channel very much, if at all. I just don't like the potential I've seen people had the cops called on them before for having a camera. I've seen, oh, wow. I don't want to mess with that stuff, man. And I know that certain thrift stores and stuff in the area, there's certain rules, and you can't have a backpack, but you can have a chest, like whatever they call that, like a harness or whatever. Yeah. But anyways, forgetting about YouTube, but anyways, I like the part of YouTube that is people showing what they sold, because I see the items that are selling and how much they're selling for. And when guys like John and Lonnie got rid of that, I lost a ton of knowledge unless I go look at their page. Yeah. Because those are the guys I watched. And that's the part that I personally really liked. And I don't think I've ever told John that. For me as a reseller, that's how I learned. It wasn't seeing him pick things up, but knowing for him that he's going to make more money and get more views on showing people what he picked up rather than what he sold it for. I get that. I do. Yeah. But for me as a reseller trying to learn, that's no good for me. It's not as good for me as the part where it showed how much everything was. Yeah. And sometimes the haul part of it's good. I skip through a lot of people's footage. I don't like, I'm real weird about listening to people negotiate. I don't like that. I don't negotiate. It makes me uncomfortable. There's a lot of things I don't like when I hear people like is that a GoPro camera? I'm like, I'm skipping. I don't want to hear this conversation because it just makes me nervous.
Yeah.
So anyways, my tip is go to Instagram, follow, get out there, follow the hashtags, or follow different people. If you're selling, put stuff up there, because other people will follow them back, and then you're going to have a feed of things that they've sold and picked up. And it's just things you can say like, oh my God, I didn't know that thing would sell for $50. I've seen those before and I never picked them up. So Instagram, I think Instagram's a really quick knowledge builder for resellers potentially.
Agreed. And just to tack onto that, I'm going to give you a couple of my favorite Instagram follows. Hustlin' Hooks, if you guys have never checked them out.
Let me see if I follow the same ones you do.
They're one of my favorites. They are from Michigan. They're a couple that pick. They are really, really good. I think over the time, I think once I started my channel, I found a couple of their videos, watch a lot of their stuff, and I've seen them. They've been growing really, really fast here, very well.
They've got almost as many followers on Insta as John does.
Yeah, they I know that I think Dean is his name. I know that he's talked with John multiple times.
Okay.
John's helped give him some direction on kind of what to focus on as far as like the channel and all that stuff. They're really good. They seem like they are awesome people. And yeah, like I said, they're in Michigan. They do a fantastic job. They both have gone. They were both part-time when I started watching them. They're both full-time now, and they rock it. And I really love Prison to Profit as well. Dante is fantastic. He's got a great personality. He's great with Instagram. He is very consistent with Instagram, which is not something that I do. But he's fantastic. He's got some good information as well. So those are two of my favorites that I will throw out there for you as well.
All right. I got three to look at. One that I'm sure you know, Osborne to Thrift.
Oh my gosh.
If you don't follow him in any capacity at all, follow him in every capacity you can. That guy, I just looking at his post right here, it's the second post in my feed. He says 35 packages out the door for the weekend, $3,244 in sales. Pretty damn good. So Osborne to Thrift. There's Pure Hustle podcast. If you don't follow them or listen to them, do that. They have some good content out there as well. I like those guys. There's a new one out that I wanted to mention. It's the Hoogs or Hoogs, Hoogs. If you go find them, they're a new reselling couple, and they show a lot of things that they found that have good comps and stuff. I like that part of their content a lot. It's like Hoogs, I believe.
Yep.
And then the other one, Dante's a good one, Prison to Profit. But the other one that I find a lot of information from is, let me see if I can find her. It's Stephanie. Get out of here, Bitmoji. Stephanie. It's Stephanie, STEFANYFUSON. Stephanie Fuson. She's got about 4,000 followers, and she shows a lot of things that you wouldn't guess, like plush and little toys and just things you wouldn't guess would be worth money. They have a lot. And I follow a ton of other people. Those are just a couple that came to mind as we talked through that. But there's great knowledge out there. And I think that a lot of people, probably miss out on that. I think that's actually an easier way to gain knowledge than YouTube, because you don't have to sit for hours and watch through things. Although I think you can learn a ton through that as well. For people who are short on time, Instagram is just as good.
Yeah, and it's a good entry too, right? Like you can get Instagram, you can find a couple of things, and then if you really want to dig into video games or record players or something like that, then you can go to YouTube and start really kind of honing in on those topics. So yeah, I like that idea. I like it.
like the Hoogs or the Hogs or Hoogs or Hogs or whatever, you know, they followed me and I followed them really early in their YouTube journey. We kind of messaged back and forth. It's Hoogs. They even have it written in
Oops.
there. They got it written in their bio there. But they have almost 2,000 followers on Instagram
Yeah,
also. And that's, I mean, that's relatively new. And then I think
impressive.
on YouTube, I know they just had a video hit over 1,000 for the first time ever.
Nice.
So for them, congrats to them. They are
2,000, man.
they're already at. I mean, they started YouTube after I did. Now I'm not putting the time in. They've got 23 videos and they have 606 subscribers really quick.
Nice.
They've got good content, so I like them a lot.
I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah,
I have 649 Instagram subscribers.
yeah, it's a way to go. You don't post much.
No, I do not. Not
So,
enough, and I'm only following 296.
and
So
I
if I
tell you what,
follow
the
you,
more you follow, the more people will follow you, it seems to be. Unless you have, like John, for instance, who has sort of a built-in, like a true built-in following that's outside of the reseller community, which is so interesting to me still. But I mean, again, Storage Wars and American Pickers have been really successful shows for a long time.
Yep.
And people who watch that and Antique Roadshow and things like that, those people are not resellers. You know, a good portion of those, probably the majority.
Yep.
So let's
They like the
kind of,
story.
yeah, absolutely. And but let's segue into our main topic so we can get this in. And but we kind of decided to go with let's just call it thrifting for shipping. And let's
Thrifting for
talk
shipping.
about that. Brennan, you came up with this topic. Tell everybody kind of what your thought was behind why you chose this and what it means.
Yeah, so the main reason I chose this, I know as we've talked, you know, about the podcast and talked about some of the listeners, a lot of you are relatively new, or some of you are relatively new to reselling. And one of the things that I thought was really good to point out was how do you get the supplies that you need, you know, for shipping. Now, obviously, you can go buy boxes. You can go to Menards, you can go to Home Depot, you can go to Lowe's, you can go to AM Shipping, which I would recommend. They have a lot of really good deals and boxes at a relatively low price. But what I'd like to talk about is how you can find these items that you need for shipping without paying for them. Legally, of course. We're not, I don't advocate for theft. But so what I do very typically, and I think a lot of resellers do as well, is you go to your local big box stores around the area. The majority of them will have a recycle bin in the back behind the store. There will be a recycling trash can back there. For the most part, I don't think too many of them care if you take the recycled boxes. I mean, they're just going to be recycled. It's not a huge deal. And I like to go through those and stock up as much as I can. I will tell you a couple of the best places that I like to frequent is Barnes and Noble. They've got a great selection of boxes, great 1913-8 boxes. So if you need a little bit of a bigger box, Barnes & Noble's fantastic for that. Bed Bath & Beyond, if you got one of those near you, they're very good for your small boxes. So we like to frequent them. And other than that, I will say other than those two, those are the main two that I would hit just for everyday boxes that I would need. If you're in need of a golf box, right? If you need a box to ship a golf bag or to ship a golf club, that's a driver, find your local golf store. Most of you are going to have a Golf Galaxy, or I don't know if Dick's has. I have not seen a recycling bin behind our Dick's, so I'm not sure about that, but Golf Galaxy for sure has one. So find a golf store, go back there, you know, pick those out. If you are uncomfortable with going into to a recycling bin, to a dumpster to pick it out. Completely understand. If you need a golf box, I know that I've done this a few times early on when I didn't really want to go through the dumpster. Just go into the store. Just be like, hey, do you have any boxes that you're going to be getting rid of? For the most part, they're not going to care to give you a box. Like it means nothing to them. They're not losing any money by giving you a box. So that's another way to get some boxes for things you need. And again, the main reason for that, for me, for newer resellers, is that you're still kind of finding your way, and you're looking to see, do I actually want to do this? Can I do this cost effectively? So any way that you can cut costs and continue to give your customers what they have asked for, I think is a fantastic way. So I'm a big proponent of finding free boxes whenever you can. And if you have a wife or a husband that loves Amazon,
Me.
and I think we all have that, just reuse. I mean, it is all about reusing. There's plenty of these things you can reuse, and they work just as well.
That's where I was going to go.
Oh, nice.
I keep every one of these bubble mailers that come in, and I ship out in them all the time. For me, they're free. Clearly not free, but the packaging is free. Yep. What comes in them or not. We buy lots on Amazon. We have family members who buy a lot on Amazon. We have people who will save boxes for us. And I've actually had to start turning boxes down. But now that I've gone full time, I'm noticing the box sizes, everything's dwindling. And I'm getting a little more antsy about boxes. So I have a list of boxes sizes that I need to order like tonight. And I didn't say it in my finds, but I had I've got a big consignment deal that I'm entering into. I've got tons of Barbie dolls, and I looked at the sold comps. I've got like 6 totes full upstairs. I don't have room for them down here yet, so they're in my kitchen. But this lady's sister died, and I went over with Christy's dad. He gave me the connection, and he's like, my son-in-law, sells on eBay, and he could sell these for you. And there's between $3,000 and $5,000 worth of Barbies up there. There's one like a Munsters Barbie that's $250. It's the Herman and the Lily, I think her name was, the wife. Wow. And that one I need to get listed. But the reason I'm bringing that up is I'm not listing those until I know I have boxes that specifically fit those, because they're collectible, and I don't want to be piecing together boxes for 50 or 100 Barbie dolls. I want to have a box that I know it fits in, the same box. I know exactly which one to go to. So I'm going to do some measuring tonight, get some ordered. There's certain boxes I buy from Uline, I buy from on eBay. The Boxery, I think, is one. And there's a couple different places I buy boxes from, but I'm not going to show you, but I have tons of boxes saved from Amazon, Home Depot, Walmart, things we get shipped in. And another thing, I don't know if people realize, there are so many free boxes at your disposal from the Postal Service. Yep. I got 1, 2, 3, I've got 4, 5 different packages of boxes that came in just past week from the Postal Service. You go on USPS.com, you go to supplies, you go to boxes, you make sure that you're looking at the boxes that are free. They do have some that you can purchase. Here's the caveat. I like to sell things that are typically less than £1. I like to sell media. Well, the boxes that come from US Postal Service are priority mail, which means you cannot ship media mail or first class in those boxes. So that's why I'm buying a bunch of other boxes, because I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel like I have what I need here. So there's certain ones I'm going to buy to make sure. But I mean, you know, we are the consumers of all consumers in the United States.
Mhm.
And even before, but since the pandemic, I mean, online shopping has become massive. So if you're a new reseller, neighbors, friends, family, yourself, start saving those boxes, use those boxes to ship, then take Brennan's advice, go out. I mean, it's not just boxes, it's poly mailers sometimes. It's
Mhm.
depending on how you open them. There's poly mailers, there's bubble mailers. You know, I buy my own for DVDs and video games and stuff. I buy my own for these, but almost everything else, I've never bought another size because I'm just constantly using
Using
these.
those.
Um,
Yeah. And I'll say, so for me, pandemic actually, the pandemic hurt my free boxes. So I work, the company that I work for, I mean, I worked in a building and we had we had 4 bins full of boxes, and peanuts that I would just, at the end of the day, all right, it's 20 minutes away. I'm going to take my break. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to grab a bunch of boxes and take them home. So I used to be able to take boxes every single day for free and not have to worry about them. I don't have that luxury now, but it is what it is. The one thing I've done recently too, and this was supposed to be my tip last week, but I forgot it. Nice necklace there.
Thank you. It's a boa, actually.
Boa, I like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to be Hollywood Hogan.
I like it. Very nice. I would, I've been just typing in free on Marketplace, and I found just, I think a week or two ago, I got a huge trash bag full of bubble wrap for free, just because someone was like, I don't want it to go to a landfill. I hope someone can use it. And I mean, I think that stuff's out there a lot if you can look for it. So
yeah, for sure. And I'm a piggyback off of that with the stuff I've got right here. This is all stuff that came in boxes from Amazon or from other places. I use this religiously when I was part-time reselling. I have since started to pop all these and throw them away because for me, it became too much. I'm out of space. Yeah. Now I'm not going to show you guys. I have like a hamper. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 like clothes hamper, like a cart that I have, and each one has a different kind of bubble wrap in it. And that's stuff that came in packages that came here. But I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I've got too much stuff for what's here. So I started throwing stuff out and just sending it to the recycling or landfill or whatever. So there's plenty that comes in the packaging that you can use. You know, I'm a proponent of American Bubble Boy. I just bought a bunch more today than I needed for bubble wrap. We do not have an affiliate link for them, but I think we need to probably figure that. I think that would be something to be good. But so many resellers of the big ones do it that who knows. But anyways, you know, I use them. And if you're new and you don't want to spend the money, I will say don't go to Walmart and Staples and Meijer and buy those bubble wraps. You're going to pay $30 for a little thing of bubble wrap when I pay $40 for 750 feet of bubble wrap from American Bubble Boy, shipped free in 2 days. Don't buy that stuff from those big retailers because it's overpriced. Staples, I used to buy one thing I liked in a box for about $20, but then I realized once this happened, I just started using American Bubble Boy. And so if you're going to pay for it, use affiliate links and things from other resellers. Look at John Cincinnati Picker, some of these other guys, Lonnie from Shed Flips, Pure Hustle Podcast, Commonwealth Picker, and anybody who's got it. And I don't know who all has one. A lot of them do now. But that's my recommendation. If you're going to buy it, don't go to the big box store and buy it. Same thing with tape and stuff. There's better options for that. Your Costco's, your things like that. You've just got a lot better. You get a lot better options.
Agreed. Absolutely. That is almost always the way to go. One caveat, which I just sent you, I feel like this has been a really good deal that I've noticed from Office Depot. here recently, where they're selling their 12 by 200 foot, the small bubble wrap for $12, which is, I feel like that's a really good deal. I think it's normally 25 or so. So I don't know I don't know how that equates to American Bubble Boy, as I haven't looked at them recently, but I feel like that one's a pretty solid deal.
Yeah, I bought
But typically,
the 3/16 inch, 12 inches. I bought $750. Sorry, $750. 750 feet. I've had too much beer. It was $39.99, which is, I think, up $10 from what I paid last time, if I'm not mistaken. But still, it's still affordable. That's a good deal too. That's a good deal.
Yeah, that's one I've been buying here recently. Just when I was just running out. But yeah, no, that's good stuff. I mean, like I said, just do your research, do your searching. I think what you mentioned to me that I'm gonna start doing is, because most of my neighbors know what I do.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, hey, if you've got your Amazon boxes that you're gonna recycle, just go ahead and throw them on the porch.
Yeah.
And and I'll take them, because that might be a little bit easier than going out to recycling bins every so often to try to find them that way. So
yeah, I like the idea, the idea of now Golf Galaxy. I learned that from John when I came up, when we did the podcast together. I brought a golf club I had. He's like, I got boxes downstairs. I grab these at Golf Galaxy all the time. So I think that's a really good tip for really weird size stuff. And even if it's not a golf club, if you got something that's longer and thinner, those are good boxes to use. I think personally, the USPS, those weird mailing tubes that are like triangle shaped, you know what those are?
Yep, use it for the baseball bats.
Weird.
They are weird.
But they're so weird. Like, why are I would rather ship in a box. But anyways,
they work great for baseball bats, but they are odd.
I've shipped also. I had 3 different sets of like Marvel, or no, it was DC Comics. What are they? Grill, like spatula and stuff. I had a Captain America, I had a Batman, and I have a Wonder Woman that never sold. And those fit really well in a folded over, what do they call those? Mailing tubes.
Mailing tube. Yep.
And the cool thing about those is that they are not, the way that they have them set up is any box you get from USPS will never hit dimensional weight unless you alter it and make it bigger, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So that's another tip. And if you don't know what dimensional weight is, I don't either. All I know is it costs more.
It costs a
usually if you're past 12 by 12 by 12, it tends to pop your price up.
Yeah, and you don't want to get, if you get over 108, I think it's 108 cubic. I think it's what it is. Then you get the balloon rate, which is, balloon rate's never good. Never good. You do not want to hit that.
Brennan, this is a lie.
Not.
Pumpkin says Imperial pumpkin ale, pumpkin pie in a glass. Let me tell you, pumpkin pie. I'm a connoisseur of pumpkin pie, and this shit is not pumpkin pie.
Not pumpkin pie. No.
It's good. It's a good beer, but there's nothing pumpkin pie about it.
I'm not a huge pumpkin pie fan. I prefer sweet potato personally, but
really, sweet potato pie.
Oh yeah.
I can't say that I may have had that. I grew up on pumpkin pie, and I love Thanksgiving. And the next day when I have severe stomach pain, actually it's not the next day, it's that day.
It's that
By that
day,
evening,
yes.
You are just destroyed, and the people around you are, I'm sorry.
That's the beauty of Thanksgiving. It keeps on giving.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we had a specific topic for a pod. And I'm glad that we came up with one, because I think that one particularly would be helpful. I did a lot of that when I first started. And honestly, when I started going away from that, I kind of made that decision because I think Lonnie on Shed Flips may have mentioned like that they buy all the boxes instead of of saving all these boxes because it's just a pain. They're all different sizes, and he's not wrong about that. But if you are not a big time seller and you don't want to put a lot of money into it, it makes so much sense to recycle and do that. And especially if we're saying as resellers that we're keeping things out of landfills,
Yep.
it makes sense to recycle. But there are times where I think you need to cut bait and say, maybe I've got too much, or this box is not very good quality. I'm going to get rid of this box. I don't like the quality. Man, this box is dirty. Maybe it got waterlogged at one point. I got to get rid of this box. You know, I still think that you can be picky with the boxes that you choose to use. If you have your neighbors drop them off, for instance, there's going to be boxes where you're like, nope, that's going to recycling. The other option, and I don't know if there's any legality, you know, issues with this, but a lot of communities have giant recycling dumpsters in their communities. We have one just in Oakwood, just down the street by the university, where they have 3 huge, just massive cardboard box recycling dumpsters. Massive. I'm talking about like,
that's where I would be.
So, and I don't know, I've never done it. I've dropped things off there that I was finally glad to get out of my garage, but that might be another option if you're comfortable doing that. And I think they even probably have some places there, like places like that, where they have plastics. And I would guess that maybe you're going to find some things, bubble wrap and stuff. I got a message from one of Christy's cousins or second cousins or something the other day. And he's like, the place I work now, like, do you need any shipping supplies? I said, well, mostly boxes and stuff. He's like, oh, well, if I have boxes, I'll save them. But the place I work has a lot of scrap bubble wrap. And I'm like, I've done that. I've saved the scrap bubble wrap, and it can be very space consuming when you're trying to do that, as opposed to I've got these neatly packed rolls that are easy to pull. I'm not searching for decent bubble wrap. But I was really happy to hear that. I've got a lot of people again, cross posting from Instagram onto Facebook. I've got a lot of family members and friends who are commenting on things or asking questions. I had a guy ask today about, like, have you found a My Buddy? Like, now you found that glowworm. Did you find a My Buddy? I said, I haven't, but there is some value there, especially for the African-American or the Black My Buddy doll. That one sells for like $70 if you ever find it. There's also one called Kid Sister. And we just kind of had a little bit of a conversation about what I'm looking for. And it's like, I'm looking for the baby boomers whose kids are gone, but they still have their stuff somewhere in the garage or attic or basement. Those are the people I'm looking for, because that's the stuff I really like to sell. And to be honest, that's stuff that's really typically pretty valuable as kids. You know, the toys that were popular in the 80s and 90s. And now that we're in 2020, 2000 to 2010, there's a lot of value there.
Yeah.
You know, that's almost vintage now.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I got fine wine. So if I could leave you guys with anything as you're searching your boxes, do not search, don't go to restaurants. Like, do not get food boxes. Those boxes are not the same. Most of them do not close all the way, and you'll just have a big hole in the middle of the bottom of the box. So food boxes are almost a no-go. Plus, typically you're going to have grease and a lot of crap in those. So that's a no-go. Do not waste your time with the food boxes if you're going to go out searching for them.
Once there was one box I recycled. I did it one time, and then I threw all of them out. And I would recommend maybe against it, diaper boxes. Although the diaper boxes have they're substantial. They have good weight to them. They seem like they hold up pretty well. They do have the opening in the bottom a little bit. I shipped a Nintendo in one of those ones. So it's the one that came back, and I almost wondered. Now there were issues with that Nintendo, and I've had issues trying to get it to work since. I had no issue when I sent it. I've had issues since, but I almost wondered, man, is it because I sent it in that damn box? You know, so, you know, think things through. The other thing I would say, and Brendan, I don't know if you do it, I don't like a bunch of extra labels on the box when I ship them out if I'm reusing them. So for 20 to 30 bucks, I picked up a heat gun, and I use the heat gun and what they call a Scotty peeler that you can buy online. And these help to get labels off of things. Maybe you've got a price tag from a thrift store. Maybe you've got, I mean, you've been there before. There's nothing worse than removing a price tag from Valley Thrift.
Yeah.
Jesus H. Christ. Why are those things so big, and what kind of adhesive are they using on those things? They're thermal, which you could tell as soon as you put the heat gun on, they turn black, but they leave such residue that you've got to use then Goo Gone to get that, to get it off of there.
That's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
It is. So anyways, I think this was a good topic. I'm glad you brought it up. And
yeah, I like it.
We can bring another topic that is of substance to the next podcast. So everybody, until next time, when you're out there looking for treasures, when you're looking at, looking for something to resell, just remember to flip it
curiously.
Right. And follow us on all different social medias and things.
Everywhere you can.
Everywhere you can. We need the support.
And share it with all of your friends.
Next time. Go Browns.
Go Browns. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
So are you